January 13th, 2025 Angola Planning Commission meeting. Welcome to everyone. If you have not signed in, please do so with your name and address out in the outer office there. The meeting is being recorded for everyone to know. Can I have a roll call?
You may. Merle Carpenter.
Here.
Amanda Cope. Here. Josh Fletcher is absent. Tina King.
Present.
Jack Brianna.
Here.
Jennifer Sharkey.
Present.
Grant Moore.
Here.
Jeff Peters also let us know he would be absent tonight. Susan Ralston.
Here.
Steve White.
Here.
Nick Sutton is absent. And Austin Boudreau.
Present.
City Attorney Kim Shout. Myself. And Kyler Crowell is in the audience, the mayor's assistant as well. So we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from last meeting? And if so, may I have a motion to approve?
Making a motion to approve as presented. Second.
Was that Steve White second? Okay, thank you.
Is there any old business?
I don't have any.
Okay. And I guess we will move on to the new business. But just so everyone knows, there's an outline as to how this meeting is conducted. So we'll ask the city planner for the reading of the staff report for each case, and then ask the petitioner to present any facts relating to the case. And then the board members after that will do a discussion and ask any questions that might be. And then we'll open the public hearing. And then we'll ask to read any correspondence into the minutes. And then we'll have the petitioner a 5-minute rebuttal if necessary. And then we'll close the public hearing at that point. And then the chairman will entertain a motion. And then we'll call for a vote. Okay.
So this first case is for a rezone, and just a reminder that we do not approve the rezone here. We just do a recommendation to the city council at this meeting. So this is case 2025 PC 01001. Let me get to the staff report. Be patient with me. I haven't done this one for a while. So applicant is James Rodman, personal representative of the late Jerry Rodman. And I believe James is not here, but are you Jason?
My name's Jason Rodman. I'm
Okay, good. Location is 1850 North State Road 827, Angola, Indiana. It is currently zoned residential. They are asking to rezone it to estate residential. Current use is single family dwelling. Proposed use is also single family detached dwelling. Today is January 13th. A legal notice of the hearing appeared in the Herald Republican on January 3rd, 2025, with 9 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice. This is the applicable code provisions, Title 18 Unified Development Ordinance, Indiana Code Zoning Ordinance 3674600 series. This is not within a floodplain. The 10.4 acre parcel or property is located along State Road 827, just south of 200 North, near the southernmost border of the Angola extraterritorial jurisdiction. The property consists solely of a 1,968 square foot dwelling, single family detached home with a large accessory structure. The applicant wishes to rezone the property to estate residential to embrace development standards specific to this district, as his late father has utilized the property for many years. And this will be for future owners as they plan on putting the property up for sale, but you can explain that. The petitioner's father has used the property for many years for hobby farming and agricultural purposes, activities that are not currently permitted within the R1 zoning district. Despite this noncompliance, the petitioner now seeks to ensure that future owners of the property can continue to enjoy the land for these same uses. So the applicable zoning code provisions are out of our UDO for estate residential, and they do include, you'll see highlighted B for agricultural. Let me get down here so everybody can see that. Agricultural production, dwelling, single family, he meets that, and hobby farming are some of the things that he hopes to do. The contextual zoning and land use, the property is zoned R1. Single-family residential within our extraterritorial jurisdiction. Surrounding land uses include ag to the north, R1, ER, and ag to the east, R1 and ag to the south. West is Fairview Missionary Church, Glendarin Hills Golf Club, R1 and ag zoning. The comprehensive plan, objective 1.2, utilize the land classification plan and land classification plan map as a foundation for zoning decisions. The future land use map shows this area as low density residential. Here's some aerial photos if you guys are not familiar. So here is the home. And this is all that 10.4 acres, I think. So here's the home, and then Fairview Church is here. Here's the property again there. There was no public input to speak of. I got a couple calls, just a few neighbors wanting to know what was happening, but they had no comment. In conclusion, staff is supportive of the request. The petitioner's 10.4 acre parcel more than meets the development standard requirements as outlined under the estate residential district and is consistent with the surrounding zoning. Additionally, the zoning amendment would not negatively impact the development of the surrounding area, and the use of the property would continue for hobby farming and agricultural production. And that's the staff report.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak on behalf of the project?
That would be the petitioner, yeah.
My name's Jason Rubin. I don't speak, but if you guys want me to, I'm happy to say sentence or two.
Okay. Okay.
Sure. My dad, Jerry Rodman, lived at and cared for that property for 50 or so years, maybe more, maybe slightly less. He loved that place. And he treated it like a hobby farm, and that's why he and my mom got it. That's why my siblings and I all loved it and all of that. And we made this request to honor what he would have wanted.
And I believe if, I know I didn't speak to you, but I spoke to your brother that your father did have horses and some other animals at one time.
The neighbors had horses. My dad had cows.
Oh, okay.
Sheep,
Okay.
he had chickens. He had turkeys. He had lots of different stuff. Not actually a horse.
Okay.
But a future owner might want a horse.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the petitioner? Okay, seeing none. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against the project? Okay, seeing none. Let's see. And you said there was no correspondence.
There was no correspondence.
Okay. All right. We will close the public hearing then. Any discussion amongst board? Well, I guess at that point, that I-
They intend to building other buildings.
We don't know what the future owner wants to do, but to honor what my dad would want, we want that owner to be allowed to use it as a hobby farm. And
So you guys are leaving it as, you're not constructing anything, tearing anything down at this time. You're just leaving it as it is and listing it for sale.
correct, that's the plan.
Did that answer your question, Steve?
But you wanted the ERs for the. Is that correct?
So right now, because it's residential, so the zoning is R1, which means, and since there hasn't been any use for a little while, what was used in the past years ago with his father is really no longer allowed. It's lost its legal nonconforming. So if the future owners, even though it's 10.4 acres, if they wanted to have a couple goats or turkeys or all of these things, or utilize the accessory structures and fenced-in areas, they really couldn't because it's zoned residential, even though it meets all the estate residential criteria. So that's why they're asking to rezone it.
And it's same residential. They have cows and chickens and turkeys.
They can do hobby farming. So yeah, they can do very small scale, not like agricultural, but they can do some small scale hobby farming, they call it. So like goats for 4-H or a chicken coop, certain things they can do just on a smaller scale.
I have a question. I don't know all about those zonings, but what you're talking about includes like cows or?
Yes, I have to look for sure. I think, or it was listed on there, but yeah, just a smaller scale. So a cow or two, but probably not, it's not agricultural. It's still a state residential, so it's a little bit less than a full-blown, what you might call a cow farm or something like that, but it's allowed.
With that being said, any other questions? If not, may I entertain a motion?
I make a motion, we move forward with a favorable recommendation to
Thank you.
council.
And second?
And that's what I was gonna say. So we just pay reasonable regard to the comprehensive plan, the current conditions and character, which meet anything would be a state residential, the most desirable use for the land, which again meets at 10.4 acres. There would be no reason the conservation of the property values, which they plan to do in responsible development and growth. So as long as we pay attention to that, thank you for your motion. Okay,
Thank you.
so that has passed and we will email something tomorrow to get all that to you.
Okay, whenever you're ready for the next one.
So I want you guys to keep in mind, we're
We
gonna,
forgot to do a vote.
oh, sorry.
Sorry.
See, listen, I said be patient. Give
Yeah, with
direction.
both of us. Could I have a vote, please? Based on the motion.
Was there a second to that?
Yes. there
Yes.
was.
Yes, Tina seconded. All in favor?
And those opposed?
Thank
There
you,
we go.
Susan. Thank you for catching that for me. So the next one is a Sarah Nova primary plat. And what you will see is that the primary plat fairly is a second item. And then we are going to look at a development plan that is part of this primary plat that's before us now. So it all kind of coordinates in that same plat, but two separate developers, if that makes sense. So let me get to the second case here. Project name is, or number 2025 PC 01002. Application is for primary plat approval. Applicant is Sarah Nova. Ken Wilson and JICI representing. Owner is Sarah Nova Development. Location is 2500 North Wayne Street. Current zoning is C2, medium to large, general commercial. Today's date is January 13th. Legal notice of the public hearing appeared in the Herald Republican on January 3rd, 2025. 22, I typed out 21, but then I put 22. Property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice by certificate on January 2nd. Applicable code provisions, Title 18, UDO, Indiana Code, Subdivision Control 3674-700 series. This is not within a floodplain, and the staff is recommending conditional approval. Sarah Nova Development, LLC, purchased this 35 acres and rezoned the parcel to C2, medium to large general commercial from ag in September of 2024. They are now asking to subdivide and plat 4 lots along North Wayne Street and 2 additional lots to the east. The development is also proposing a new frontage road that they have asked to be a public street called Sarah Nova Drive. The frontage road will connect to the existing city street, Spellman Drive. This plat will be classified as a commercial district subdivision, Title 18, 18148.010. Sorry guys, I lost the mouse here. And the land use intent of the commercial district subdivision is at least 90% non-residential. The intent for the pedestrian network is safe movement to primary structures from the streets, safe movement between primary structures, safe accessibility to perimeter streets. The intent for vehicular network in that CD subdivision is connectivity to adjacent undeveloped parcels and the existing street network, adequate accessibility for deliveries, use of frontage roads when necessary, and minimal curb cuts. The 4 lots, lot number 1 is 1.31 acres. And if you guys, let me get down here. So lot 1 is this one here to the left. So lot 1 is 1.31 acres and is already in the process of development, which is what we will hear second our third hearing, I guess, tonight. Lot number 2 is 1.61 acres. Lot 3 is 1.47 acres, and lot 4 is 2.51 acres. Lot 5 is to the north and is 3.74 acres, and lot 6 is 16.57 acres. I don't think it's supposed to be to the north. Lot 5 is to the east. Sorry. Apparently, I need to be better at proofing. Some of our site plan pictures here, if you guys aren't familiar, this is Meyer store right here in the bottom right. So it's this property here. So this is the drive to get back to Meyer. And here's the property. Again, this is kind of looking, here's the old Ruby Tuesday building this way. So the property is here. And then again, the corner. So this is the stoplight at Meyer. And they will come off of here. And then looking south from above the Meyer parking lot, here's the property right here. Contextual zoning and land use. The property is zone C2, medium to large commercial. Surrounding land uses include to the north, Meyer, Three Rivers Credit Union, Starbucks, and other commercial businesses. To the east is Serenova Development with the ag vacant lot. And some of that's in the ETJ area once it gets further to the east. To the south, multifamily residential and commercial use to businesses, and to the west, industrial and commercial. The City of Angola Comprehensive Plan update designates this area as general commercial in the future land use. Principle 1, manage community form and growth, strongly encourage redevelopment of underutilized vacant or abandoned structures and lots. Object 1.7, encourage infill development to direct commercial and residential growth inside the corporate limits when underutilized sites are redeveloped. Principle 5, promote economic vibrancy. Objective 5.3, ensure that shovel-ready sites are available for businesses and industrial growth. Objective 5.7, increase efforts to attract and retain businesses and residents. You guys received plan review sheets that were in that one drive that you got. And so you probably, if you had a chance to kind of look at these, we included these because these are part of the internal review that our departments do. So you will see the department to the very left, the department's comments, and what was returned to us from the developer, the architect, and then what's outstanding. So we gave that to you just so everyone is aware of what some of the things that we do look at, what's outstanding, because when I give a recommendation for conditional approval, I want you to understand this is why. We did not receive any public input as a result of any of the legal notices. In conclusion, staff is supportive of the request for primary plat approval. The commercial subdivision and potential development of these properties will be catalyst to help create higher density commercial development to the north. Additionally, the property can accommodate development standards for the commercial district subdivision, and it supports our comprehensive plan to encourage infill development. Staff does recommend conditional approval of this project once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed to the staff's satisfaction. Hence why you received those. And I think that's it, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So does the petitioner like to speak on behalf of the project? State your name and address, please.
Ken Wilson, 319 Pokagon Trail. I'm here representing the developer of CITI, also part owner in the Serenova development. Some, or if not all of you, have heard this story before. This project has been in my head for 20 plus years. We were able to finally acquire it here this past year. As you know, this is the Nielsen's farm, which had cows on it up until 2 months ago. The conversations that have taken place since we acquired the property really surrounded multiple departments, the city, Amanda's department, the county surveyor, IDEM, Army Corps of Engineers, As you imagine, because the county illegal drainage ditch that runs right through the center of it. That obviously had to be our first and foremost conversation that we needed to get taken care of before we even got to this level. So there's been a lot of behind the scenes conversations in trying to get to that. Also with the city and review of the plat, what we submitted here, what you see here tonight is the final conclusion of what we believe is going to be a dynamite addition to North Wayne Street and the city of Angola by connecting the two major shopping centers, Walmart and Myers, together. And along with the full 110 acres, which this is only the first 35 acres to the west, you will have almost 7 ingress and egress points in and out of this development to help with minimizing the traffic impact throughout that particular area. So I think collectively with all the departments that I mentioned before, I think that we have presented an excellent plan that checks all the boxes that you currently have. In the submission of your primary plat, we know that there's still some tweaking that needs to occur for the secondary plat that we'll work through with the city once we get through this particular portion of it. As you can see there, that roundabout, that actually came at a request from the traffic commission. We were able to accommodate it and move some things around. If you're wondering why it's a little bit goofy, obviously we needed to figure out a way how to get a roundabout in there with a lot of action going on right there with the county drain and the two detention areas. One L-shaped, if you will, to the east. That one is more for the development. The one horizontal there to the south, that is in connection with the Steuben County Drainage Board to help beautify what's currently there now and expand it. And hopefully with further conversations with the city, we can expand Serenova Drive all the way over to Northcrest Street.
Which would then connect that picture that we had this way. So this is Northcrest that this is Northcrest.
Yeah, so that currently right now is a private easement to the various landowners. Our proposed driveway would line up with the frontage, call it a frontage road for Walmart. If you can move your cursor down to that, keep going right and then go right there. So we've back just a little bit.
Okay.
Right up about right there to help kind of clean up that is what you would say. I'm possibly playing with your mouth.
Yes.
To help that intersection more straight on a traditional intersection as opposed to having random ones come in and out there along Northcrest.
All right, anybody from the board have questions?
Ken, a couple people from the Lake James Association have been questioning, what's going on. Obviously, you've done a great job in presenting this. It looks awesome. Their concern is because of the ditch flowing into Lake James.
Yep.
Any extra water. So obviously you've got those. I see that the wet ponds noted. Any type extra testing or anything that will go along with that?
Yeah, so actually this past last week, Thursday, we had a meeting with Evan White from IDEM, and we specifically talked a lot about the Lake James and what is being proposed. So the L-shaped one to the east, that's for the development. So all surface water will go into that pond, and then it will go into the ditch. The ditch actually is that solid black line that runs kind of vertically and then kind of catty corner to where the two ponds are. So that will be the piped area. Evan felt really good about what we presented. And actually short of any issues with our Army Corps, which there should be none, unless you're planning on moving your boat or your yacht out there. He felt very positive with that. We do have, each individual lot will be responsible for their own quality control. They'll have to submit to the city, whether that's through a vegetation area or some other type of structure to like quality control before it goes into the water. But it basically, there's a two-step process. I know that Jason at the Board of Health mentioned that he has already had 2 water samples that they did a year ago, and I think 18 months ago, actually more on the Lake James. So that actually was a good sign that he felt that we'd be getting those E. coli out of the ditch.
Thank you.
So Ken, I'm looking at the plan review and routing comment sheet. Number 20 talks about possibility of how this may affect the pedestrian trail and possibly relocating that.
So there was conversations, which the primary plat does not show that because it was conversations that happened in the traffic meeting. But as this thing further develops, we are open to possibly capturing that at Ruby Tuesdays area and bringing that along Serenova Drive and then tying it back into North Wayne. Can you throw up an aerial so that maybe well, you guys are familiar with it. It's at Ruby Tuesdays now, and it runs along North Wayne Street, and then it goes up a hill. That hill will go away, and then it comes back down. So you either stay the same direction, or it will get redirected inside of Serenova, which would get it off of North Wayne Street.
I can't see this far, so.
With the trail needing to be reconstructed, if it stays in the same spot because of the grade change, internally, we feel this is a good time to investigate, can we get that trail off of North Wayne? Put it someplace else, still provide the connectivity, but make it a little safer, a little more enjoyable to not be walking or biking next to the state road.
So we're definitely not opposed to it. It just needs to have further conversation, because the right of way with the roundabout, obviously, how is that going to affect, because you're going to go through it. But on the backside of Myers is the northeast side of Myers is where the parking lot is for the trail heading right now. So we think that it would be a huge benefit to get off of North Wayne Street. But we just weren't there yet. Yeah. But we are open to it.
I guess on that topic, we just have to look at the ingress and egress for each of those lots and the crossing, pedestrian crossing. If we put it on Serenova Drive,
Right.
what type of warning mechanisms we might have for both the vehicles and the pedestrians, but that can come later.
Yeah. My guess is you'd probably want it on the east side of Serenova because there's less lots over there. And then once you go across that roundabout, and then you'll be straight into basically Selman Drive to reconnect with it there. And then obviously the residential development further to the east, Selman Drive gets extended over, and it has the potential of tying into that residential development as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one more. Amanda, is this within the MS4 area?
So this portion of the primary plat is, yes.
Okay.
Currently, the property to the east is outside of city limits at this time.
So that green line that you see up there, we're basically to the west of that right there. We are not presenting anything to the east of that green line.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for or against the project? Hearing none, we'll move on. No correspondence, she says? Yes. Okay. Okay, we will close the public hearing. For any discussion amongst the board? I guess we will entertain for a motion then, the conditions as,
Do the findings of.
oh, we got to do findings of fact. Sorry, this one has one, sorry. Okay.
The planning commission shall make the findings of fact. Approval of the findings may be in the form of general statement. Disapproval of findings shall specify the provision of this title or the city of Angola's construction standards. Number one, the subdivision of land is consistent with the Angola comprehensive plan. The Sierra Nova development plat is consistent with the Angola comprehensive plan objective 1.5, 1.7, 5.3, and 5.7. The subdivision of land satisfies the development requirements of Division 4 of this title, subdivisions. The Sierra Nova development will satisfy the subdivision requirements established in Division 4. Subdivision types for commercial development with no foreseeable variance once plan review, comments, and conditions of approval are adequately addressed. The subdivision of land satisfies the standards of Division 5 of this title, design standards. The Sierra Nova development plat will satisfy the applicable design standard once plan review, comments, and conditions of approval are adequately addressed. Internal drive is private.
Agree.
I have a question on that.
Yeah,
Internal drive is private.
I don't, I'm not sure why that's on there because we talked about Sierra Nova Way being a public drive. So let's scratch that because that wasn't, unless Ken, am I missing something? Is there a reason? Okay, so yeah, I don't know why that's on there. When I read it, I was a little taken back. Who knows what I was typing? Did you guys say will?
Well,
Okay, so Sierra Nova Way that showed on that plat, the frontage road that we're calling it is supposed to be public infrastructure. The subdivision of land satisfies any other applicable provisions of this title. The Sierra Nova development plat will satisfy other applicable provisions of the Unified Development Ordinance. The property will be developed in a manner consistent to complement the surrounding character once the plan review, comments, and conditions of approval are adequately addressed. Number 5, the subdivision of land satisfies the construction requirements of the City of Angola's construction standards. The Sierra Nova development plat is honoring easements and setbacks to those easements that serve the area, but any future construction will satisfy the construction requirement of the City of Angola. Okay, now you can ask.
Now we can ask. So could I have a motion?
I'll move to approve with the conditions of approval that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed to staff's satisfaction.
May I have a board vote, please? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your patience. I think I've said I missed Brett like 6 times today, so I will continue with those statements. Okay, we can move on if everybody's ready to project number 2025 PC 01003. This is for development plan approval for Consumer Credit Union, Nick Lokes, and I believe he's here. Okay. Is it Bosch Architecture? Okay. This is for lot 1 of the Sierra Nova development that you just approved. Current zoning is C2, medium to large general commercial. Today's date, January 13th, 2025. Legal notice of the public hearing appeared in the Herald Republican on January 3rd with 22 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice by certificate of mailing. Applicable code provisions, Title 18, UDO, Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7 for 1400 series. Not within a floodplain. And we are recommending conditional approval on this one as well. Consumer Credit Union will be the first developed lot. So lot number 1 that we had looked at inside the new Sierra Nova development. They are seeking development plan approval for a 2217 square foot building with 2 drive-through lanes. Access to the credit union will be from the frontage road of Saranova Way. The lot is 1.31 acres. The building, as you can see on the renderings, and Nick, you may end up correcting me on this because it was just kind of seen on some of the floor plans you sent, but the building will house the main foyer with 4 offices, 2 restrooms, an employee break room, and the teller area for the counter and drive-through. The entrance will be on the north side of the building and the drive-through lanes on the south side. Signage will be permitted separately. The landscaping plan incorporates, so here's a couple of the conceptual drawings. Here, the landscape plan incorporates a mix of shrubs and trees to provide screening along Salmon Drive, North Wayne Street, and Saranova Way and foundation plantings. They are meeting and in some areas exceeding the city's requirements for the landscaping. The site will have 9 regular parking spaces and 1 handicap space for ADA compliance. Here are a few site photos, and they're really pretty much the same as we just looked at for the Saranova Plaza. So he is, again, looking at lot 1 for the Saranova, so it'll be right here at the corner. Conceptual zoning and land use. The property is zone C2, as we just discussed. Surrounding land uses include Meyer, Applebee's, Beltire, and Menards to the north. East is vacant, C2 and agricultural land. South, vacant, C2 land. ProFed is on down and other commercial properties. West is industrial zoning. The City of Angola's comprehensive plan update designates this area as general commercial in the future land use map. Principle 1, manage community form and growth. Objective 1.5, strongly encourage redevelopment of underutilized vacant or abandoned structures and lots. Objective 1.7, encourage infill development to direct commercial and residential growth inside the corporate limits when underutilized sites are developed. Again, you have the plan review for that was in your packet. And at this point, you've not seen any of their responses. And I don't know, did we get those today, Amanda, that I didn't see?
You've not done that.
Okay. So these are just what you're seeing on this plan review are just the comments of our internal departments. The staff has not received any public input as a result of the legal notices. In conclusion, staff is encouraged to see more development on the north end of our community. The proposed credit union aligns with the permitted uses within the C2 medium to large general commercial district. The site will have convenient access and will prove to be an asset to our growing community. The staff recommends conditional improvement of this project once all the plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed to staff satisfaction. And that is all, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a petitioner here who would like to speak?
Sure.
Please state your name and address, please.
My name is Nick Lukes. I'm with Bosch Architecture, 8065 Vineyard Parkway, Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm also joined by Cindy McDonald. She's the Senior Site Development and Construction Manager for Consumers Credit Union. So if you have any direct credit union questions, where they are, what they're located, how big they are, she can answer them. Anything site related, I can answer. So I think you summed it up pretty accurately. We're proposing a 2,217 square foot building with 2 drive-throughs on this site, access off the new frontage road, which is Saranova Way. Just looking for any questions you have. I did get the comments. I have most of those taken care of. I've had some correspondence with Amanda on some drainage stuff, which I'm still working through. I have most everything already taken care of. I was just waiting to get the drainage stuff taken care of and then resubmitted. I think there was a question. I received a voicemail about the dumpster enclosure maybe needing a development variance. I've actually moved that to the southeast side, but I did have a question on that because that's considered a frontage now too.
So I had called you back a couple times and I think we just kept missing each other. But yes, I did leave you that voicemail because I was concerned, and honestly, I had to work through that a little bit. We don't have a lot of frontage roads.
Yeah.
And so I had to rethink my thought process when I initially, so what we're talking about, you guys, is this dumpster right here. Initially in my head, I felt like that was front.
Yeah.
Because it was near North Wayne. And as I looked through it and then sorted my thoughts out with the help of some of my team members, I decided that Saranova Way would be considered front. So if we can discuss
Okay.
that location. I know you've probably already changed it and I'm sorry.
I did move it
Tried
to the
to
other
call you
side.
back.
I need to move it back. It's not a problem. It takes.
Yeah, I just, after I talked about it, I was like, and looking at it and I thought if we're gonna call this front yard and it's a frontage road, then it does make sense. And I know it's gonna be fenced in.
Yep.
With the proper fencing, and so it's not like there's just gonna be a dumpster out by North Wayne, but that was my initial
Yeah,
concern.
typically they don't use dumpsters. They use like small, like Herbie type things because there's not a lot of trash generated from it. So
Okay.
it's not like a big trash truck's coming, pick up a dumpster. It's small. They come up, the trash truck picks it up, dumps it, and
Okay,
it's not like the front end ones. So.
and they still keep them out in this gated area? Okay. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, and the reason I kept it over there is if you look at the internal sidewalk structure, most of the employees would park on the west side of the building. So when they go out at night they can take out trash and just dump it in there and then go back to their parking space. So.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Any questions from the board?
I think I saw a comment in the plan review, the road, how this would be facilitated while Serenova Way is being developed to access this property. I don't know if that's within your development plans or if that would be
So,
within Ken and
That's a question
JSCI.
we had. Ken has assured us that the road will be in place or some access will be in place to access this site. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Hopefully by the time we construct this, that road will be under construction and we'll all mesh together at the same time. But that's what we've been told. So.
We have talked with Ken on, depending on the timing, if he's not ready to develop that entire road, he'll construct the road past this entrance. That portion would remain private until we get to a point where we're ready to accept it. So, still fair.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll entertain any public input for or against the project. Is there anyone here that would like to speak?
I'm just going to tell you a little history. So I'm Cindy McDonald. I am with Consumers Credit Union.
Want to come up to the podium, please?
So I'm Cindy McDonald. I am with Consumers Credit Union. We are located at 7200 Elm Valley Drive in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Our goal here, we were graciously allowed, we are a chartered credit union in the state of Michigan, and we just obtained chartering for 7 counties here in Indiana. So as we move through this, you are the first one on our docket. We're excited to come down here. We currently have 29 retail offices in the state of Michigan. It's mainly on the west side. We go from Lake Michigan to Lansing, down to Coldwater, and then back to South Haven. So we cover all of that territory. However, we do have charter up all of Lower Michigan and the UP. We're just gradually growing into it. We are a large credit union. We're about 4.2 billion. We have over 450 employees, and we are organically growing. We don't come in and take over like another credit union or a bank or anything like this. We grow our credit union by providing good services and building relationships in the community and with our members. So that's why it's so exciting. I'm fortunate. I know this area very well. I currently have a place on Coldwater Lake, so I come to Angola a lot. So when we were looking at this and we were looking at sites and things, we looked at this right away. We had reached out before we met Ken with JICI and talked to the previous owner. And when they started putting the purchase agreement and everything together, we came together and agreed that we would work with JICI. They would buy the property, we would work with them, we'll get everything developed. So we're super excited. We're probably looking at construction maybe late third quarter, fourth quarter. So in theory, it would be open in 2026. It usually takes us roughly 8 months to build one. Do you have any questions?
We're glad you chose us. for your
We're
first
super
time.
excited. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We cannot wait to get down here and get moving.
Very good information. Thank you. I guess we'll do.
I open the public hearing.
Oh, I thought I did that, did I?
No.
No, sorry. Okay, is there a public hearing anybody would like to speak for or against? Okay, then we'll close that.
Okay, we'll do facts and findings. The development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan.
It is.
The development plan is consistent with the City of Angola Comprehensive Plan because objective 1.5 strongly encourages redevelopment of underutilized vacant or abandoned structures and lots. And objective 1.7 encourage infill development to direct commercial and residential growth inside the corporate limits when underutilized sites are redeveloped, sorry.
Agreed.
Number 2, the development plan does or does not satisfy the applicable development standards of Division 2 of this title zoning districts. The development does or will satisfy applicable development standards of Division 2 of this title zoning districts once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. The use of a bank with drive-up window is permitted specifically in that C2 zoning district. The development plan does or does not satisfy the applicable standards of Division 6 of this title development standards.
Does.
The development plan does or will satisfy the applicable standards of Division 6 or of this title development standards such as lighting, landscaping, etc. once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Agree.
The development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable provisions of this title.
Does.
The development plan does or will satisfy all applicable provisions of this title once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Agreed.
The development plan does or does not satisfy the construction requirements of the City of Angola's construction standards.
Does.
The development plan does or will satisfy the applicable construction requirements of the City of Angola's construction standards. Once again, when all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. And ask for a motion.
Yep, thank you. Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I move we grant conditional approval based on plan review and routing comments being adequately addressed.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, and I need a vote. With all those in approval, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you guys for coming down and so we missed something.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did. Okay, I'm gonna let you take over, Rita. I have no idea where to go with
Okay,
this part of it.
so Susan and I missed elections, which were the first thing on the agenda. So I apologize for that. We just got kicked right in and forgot to do that. If you guys don't want to stay, you don't have to. Thank you all for coming. So we are going to ask for nominations. Currently, Susan sits as the president. We will have nominations for vice president and secretary. Currently, Nick Sutton is vice president and Susan is president. So do we have any nominations for president?
Susan, you really don't want it?
Not that comfortable in the position. I'm sure I could be, but
I think you do great with us.
Are you interested, Brent?
I'm already head of the BZA, so I got
Oh,
enough. So
Okay.
I have enough, is that what?
I've got enough.
awfully quiet in here.
Anybody want to throw out? Jeff Peters has, I will mention, we have on here as well, the liaison to the Steuben County Plan Commission. Jeff Peters is absent tonight, but he has been fulfilling that role and he has offered to continue that. So that one is taken care of.
So therefore, he cannot be president, is that?
I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with it, honestly. I mean, If he's not here and you want to nominate him, I guess that's up to you guys. I
He's a
don't
good
know.
friend. I don't know that I can do that. So without him
That
here.
friendship may quickly change. I know that his schedule, he travels a little bit, so I don't know how easy it would be to do that.
Jack, what about you?
A year in, I would entertain maybe doing twice. But sure, take on the big one yet.
So Nick's not here either if we want
A
to,
lot of options,
I know.
because Pearl's not here half the time and.
I was nominated umpteen years ago. No,
Jennifer.
I would say, I've been serving on the common council. I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
Probably okay, but just, I think I'd feel more comfortable not serving as a president for the plan commission since we vote at the council level to approve or comment on what's done at the plan commission level.
And that makes sense.
That does make sense.
But I do appreciate it. Thank you.
And Amanda being a staff person, I know everybody's eyes are going to Amanda. She's like not making eye contact, but Amanda being staff,
Right.
probably not the best position to put her in either.
No. Tina?
I think you do a wonderful job. You really do.
I'm just sometimes a nervous wreck up here.
You never know it.
Really?
No, you do really good. You do.
Good job.
I'm not just saying that because I desperately need. You really do a good job. Will you accept a nomination if somebody just drops it in your lap?
With the understanding that we do have a lot of travel plans for 2025.
Jack will be here.
Jack will be VP, sorry.
I mean, I can't.
He's got you covered.
I just want that to be clear and open.
All right, while she's still in agreement, do I have a nomination?
I make a motion to nominate Susan Ralston as president.
I'll second.
And Susan, you'll accept that, even with your travel plans and even that you
And
hate me right
grandbaby.
now? And new grandbaby?
Yes, I will accept.
Thank you. Okay, nomination for vice president, please.
I nominate Jack Verana.
Before we, how Nick feels about,
I have not talked to him. I was hoping he would be here tonight for that purpose, but I honestly haven't talked to him yet. I haven't had a chance, but
since he.
I think he'll be
I didn't
okay
know.
with that. No, he'll be fine.
I think he will be too.
He's new, really, honestly. He hasn't been here much longer than you. So I know that he'll appreciate kind of being in all the zones. So I think he'll be fine with that. If you're willing to accept that nomination.
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Second. Third.
Okay, and then I think because of my position, I am automatically secretary, but we still have to have a nomination. If I could deny it, I would, but I can't.
I nominate Rita Hicks for secretary.
Second.
You. Okay. And then as I stated, Jeff has agreed to continue as the liaison with the Steuben County Plan Commission. And I believe we have Austin for another year as Steuben County's liaison to us. So we appreciate that, Austin.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Madam President, call for a vote on all three of those nominations.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. So I guess I'll go in order. So for president, may I have a vote, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Same for vice president
Aye.
and secretary.
Aye.
There was no nays there.
No, that's fine. One nomination in each office.
Yeah, okay.
somebody next time up.
Okay, that's all I have.
There's no BZA this month, right?
No, BZA has been canceled. Correct, thank you. Okay.
We are adjourned.
I can't tell you how many.
I wish I had your.
How long have you been on, Burl?
I've seen a lot of meetings, so
15 years ago,
Well,
clear
look
back
what I
then,
did, I
some
missed
of them,
it.
built up the